place he's got, he's knocked off sit, to your mouth on your tongue. Several others.
This guy is clearly.
And they have no
unhinged.
idea that because
he's off
the
his
police
rocker.
up there, we
But it's
don't
on
know.
social media, so it's all okay.
Oh, he's
We
off his
don't know.
rocker.
We don't know of all these other senior citizens being killed
Well,
off.
you know who knows? This guy's out to
Anybody
lunch.
with a beard
know
like that is a
this guy-
psychopath.
The guy put it up on.
Anybody who has more hair on their face
Oh,
than on
that
their
F
head
state.
are ipso facto psychopaths.
You know, I would argue with that.
Yes,
but,
I know you would.
But generally speaking, you're probably correct. The only exception to
it's a
that
rule
rule,
of thumb.
the only
It's not
exception to
bad.
that rule, I would argue. So I'm going to generally agree with you,
Would
except
be
that
breast cancer patients?
no,
No.
good point. But there's this trend in the brewers world, where if you are a brewer, you grow one of these big monster beers. Every single
And
brewer.
that's idiotic.
It's weird.
That's idiotic.
Grow a beer.
Every beard.
Well, then
All these brewers have these big monster
well,
beers.
it's not as bad as tattoos, I suppose.
And they all have a lot of tattoos.
Well, that's
Yeah.
well, that confirm. Well, you know, enough that I rest my case.
We have a
On
standing.
my Tumblr page, I have very few. I have no central body tattoos on the pictures on my Tumblr page, and very few on the limbs. They have to be exceptionally hot to make that cut. But I do not have tattoos on my Tumblr page.
Or piercing.
No, I love some piercings. I don't mind.
Pirates!
I don't like dick piercings.
Pirates!
I like nipple
Pirates!
piercings.
You like pirates?
I don't like facial piercings. in
Arr!
general. Well, yeah. I mean, there are some. You know, I'm generally not. I generally don't have any pirates on my page.
Oh God, what was Kelly there? What did? Oh, it's gone.
I loved
Maybe
it.
it'll come back.
I loved it when I was driving by, and every time I saw one of these guys with earrings, I'd say pirates. And you finally said that's just the way things are now, Dad. I don't care. On the other hand, now it doesn't bother me at all. But that was 22 years ago.
22.
1995.
Yeah. 95. I was thinking about that. Actually, I was thinking about that because I was trying to remember.
Would you like a case for that? It looks so fragile.
Oh, it's got a case. It's got a case. It's in a little.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and then
That
I have.
seems to do-
And then I have. Well, it's cracked, but I have
Oh,
a
that,
layer
yeah,
of
that
glass
seems
over
to
it.
do too much damn good.
Well, no,
now.
that crack is in. There's a sheet of protective glass on it that's
Oh.
adhered to it, and then it's the outer glass that's cracked, but the
The actual
The actual-
phone is not.
phone is in good shape.
Which phone is that?
This is the 6 Plus.
iPhone 6 Plus?
Yeah, and I don't think I'm going to use. So when we finally upgrade, this is fine, but I'm going to go back to the standard size.
Why do you have
This
to
is just a little
upgrade?
bit too big.
Oh, yeah.
Why do
and-
you have to upgrade?
Well, eventually the battery will stop working on it.
What are you gonna have
Thank
to
you,
do?
Apple.
You can have that changed, can't you?
No.
Can't he change the battery?
No,
What?
you can't change a battery in an iPhone. It's the
Well, yeah, you
it's
can.
the dirty little secret
No,
that
Well,
Apple-
All that
it, you know,
bullshit.
it says to me, you know, AT&T said I could change the battery tomorrow.
well, there's another lie.
Another lie?
Another
Oh
lie.
my word! Like, oh, if you've paid for your seat on your airline flight and you're seated in it, you can sit in it
Oh,
and
you know
fly
what?
to your destination.
That poor man. I tell you what.
well,
I miss seeing what they did to him.
What a
They
bunch
really
of
beat
goons.
the
I
shit
will
out of
never
that
fly. If I can at all avoid it,
Yeah, well,
I will never fly
unfortunately-
United.
Unfortunately, I couldn't afford it. I can't avoid it because I'm going to be flying.
Well, that's the
United.
problem.
Yeah.
So there was an article on
It's either I'm going to lose my points,
Right.
you know.
Right.
You know, so I'm kind of locked in.
You are.
Yeah.
And there was an article on that. It was, I think it was the Washington Post. It was like, wanna boycott United? Good luck. And then the article was basically like, if you travel even just occasionally and you want to go any distance, most of the time.
Next year I can I'll know how to make this.
Somebody.
Well, hell, I don't know. I may have a very good experience this year when I'm traveling.
Some guy.
Assuming they're still in business.
One of them is going to. Their offer to bump somebody is going to start at 10,000.
Well, they should have stood in the cabin and held an auction. No, they should have said, we're going to give none of this voucher shit that you can't use, at all, unless you're like have a magic fairy deciding where you're going to travel during the next year.
Yeah.
We're going to give you hard, cold cash on the barrelhead,
well,
and we're going to
that's
start
what they offered him.
No, they offered him an $800 voucher.
Oh, it was a voucher? I thought it was. I
No,
thought it was just.
They did not offer him
$800
cash.
credit.
Delta offers these people cash.
See, there you go.
And just go up and up and up and up and up until
you get four
well,
people.
I'm going to tell you, this doc, it's like I would never take an offer to be bumped from a flight because I travel infrequently. I've got all sorts of plans tied to that flight.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, if I'm going to fly out to Seattle to see Tony Ballman,
sure, I'll wait 12 hours.
I don't mind sitting 12 hours at Chicago O'Hare.
Sure.
I don't give a fuck.
Especially if you give me $2,000 to do it.
Well, hell, I wouldn't do it for $2,000. I sure as hell do it for $10,000 though.
Well, but here's the thing. I like that idea.
Have fun.
They needed 4 people off the flight. You say, okay, we need 4 people off the flight. We'll start at $1,000.
They could have hired a fucking cab to drive to Louisville, 5.5 hour drive. It would have cost them at the most $2,000, and nobody would have heard about any of this stuff. Instead, you've got all this hoo-ha.
Right. Well, and not to mention my issue was one with the judgment of the goons that yanked this poor guy off, and then even more significantly, not the hired goons, but the freaking police officer that stood there and let them do that, but without intervening and saying, "Oh, hey, hold up, guys. There's a constitutional issue going on here. You can't physically assault somebody." And I'm sure at least a couple of seats predict exactly. How many seats they're gonna sell.
I think if you sell something that you know there's a chance you won't be able to follow up on, that is fraud.
Absolutely.
And if I say eat the 4 or 5 or 6 seats of flight, that you sell, you're still gonna get the fucking money. It's not like. It's not like you haven't been paid for the fucking seat because most of those things are non-cancelable and non-refundable.
And you can't tell me that they can't predict out months and months in advance whether or not they're going to need to have some employees transfer on a flight.
Like I said, it wasn't like they needed to have employees from Los Angeles or San Francisco or Seattle. A guy out in the parking lot, if they rushed up to a guy in like a pickup truck with me, they said, "We're going to give you $3,000 to take our 4 guys down to Louisville." I said, "Hell yeah, fuck, I'll drive them down."
Don't tell me that United Airlines, one of those powerful corporations on planet Earth, can't perhaps even simpler for them, contract with one of these small, like private,
hell, they could hire Uber
or NetJets or something like that.
Well,
don't tell me you can't charter a flight for 4 guys for a 2-hour flight. It's ridiculous.
It's a 4.5-hour drive, 5-hour drive. Fuck it.
Look at all the planes they got sitting around.
It wasn't like they had to be down there for 3 hours waiting to it's idiotic. Now the point I want to make is this, and I make this as a physician. And while this is going to sound racist, it's not racist. It's as a physician who has worked with certain ethnic groups in medicine. All right? there are certain ethnic groups who are physicians in medicine. They make a very big deal about being a physician. They just really do. I'm a physician. You can't touch me. I am invincible. I must be everywhere I say I must be. And as a physician,
well, there's a basic.
as a very white physician, I also know that you never, ever, ever play the physician card with an authority figure, because that's the surest fucking way to get your ass clubbed in the head and kicked off anywhere you want to be. You never do that. You never pull that. This guy handled this the exact wrong way.
Right,
Well,
he
okay.
was an orthodontist.
No, he was a surgeon of some sort.
So first of all, while I'm not going to openly disagree with your comment, since you've been a doctor, I
hold a full and unrestricted license in the state of Ohio.
I can also tell you that almost every doctor I've ever met, all right, that's an exaggeration. I would say 80% of all the doctors I've met,
good generalization,
white, black, Asian, what have you, are all like, oh, I'm a doctor, right? So while
a number of them are,
you may have a little bit more insight into the ethnic backgrounds of guys who like to play play the doctor
that was
card.
Not the major thrust of my remarks,
and so
despite the fact I mentioned it first.
Right. Well, but having said that, as a guy on the receiving end, a lot of times in my former careers or jobs, of guys who like to play the doctor card, I can tell you
this is fucking great
that it really is.
Burning River Pale Ale, it really is.
Great Lakes they do a good job. I can tell you right now that playing the doctor card in a lot of cases is probably the easiest way to screw yourself over.
It is.
Because you know what I would do? When I worked.
Well, that's exactly what I said.
Guys who would come in and say, "I need this computer back. I need this like immediately. I need it in a couple hours."
Oh wait, the screwdriver fell into the computer.
And you'd say, "Oh well, we're going to do the best we can." But I'm a doctor. I need this for my medical practice. And you know what I'm thinking, especially at the time when I was like 22 years old?
Buy a fucking spare.
I'm thinking then you can afford a backup.
Yeah, you can afford a backup. Fuck, yeah. Even I now have two computers.
Of course, that's back when computers still cost. That was before the sub $1,000 computer.
Well, but that, still, I mean, he's a doctor. He can afford that. But, no, you never, the only time that works for me is when I'm in the hospital.
Yeah.
If I have to go to the pest house, I'll come in and I'll say, I'm Dr. Kersey.
Right.
And they think I'm sort of like connected with the case, and they'll generally let me right into. Now, of course, that was before all the, lockdown medical records, deep secrecy shit. You can't find out anything about people. The dark secrecy patient care protocols. I like that. Dark secrecy patient care protocol.
That should be the new. Well, that's probably going to be the name of several new laws.
It'll be.
Dark secrecy.
When Nancy Pelosi takes over the House again.
Oh God, no, she won't. Please no. Anybody but Nancy Pelosi.
Well, I'd rather have her than Maxine Waters. She's insane.
Well, yes, but.
Or John Lewis, he's also kind of insane.
Could we maybe?
He had too many head injuries during those civil rights.
It'd be nice if the Democrats could get somebody who's sort of normal.
I remember. You don't remember this because you weren't alive then. Scoop Jackson. He was a senator from Washington State. And he was a very hell. I mean.
I remember that.
Yeah, of course you do, because it's only 2 years difference in our ages, and just practical things about defense and things, and none of this polemical shit.
When the thing was first mentioned,
there's a problem. Let's see how we can solve it.
Is this guy a thud?
Well, the thing about the Democrats is, both Pelosi or whatever the hell her name, and the Chuck Schumer guys, Like they've been you know,
Well, much as Chuck Schumer
They're-
was very, completely anti-gun for years and years and years, I thought that he, at least on some levels, had some degree of rationale. Well,
Right.
it's very much like Harry Reid. I thought, and then you get these guys in, and they become insane. I mean,
well,
Schumer is insane.
he's not, but
Pelosi's borderline insane. Maxine Waters insane.
those guys are in there because they're basically pit bulls, and the Democrats are trying their best to play hardball.
And if Chuck Schumer was running in any other fucking state than New York, because of all the votes in New York City, he wouldn't be in the United States Senate.
Probably
he
not.
might be in a House seat.
Probably.
He could,
Didn't he started out in the House.
If he came to Ohio, he might have a nice safe seat.
He'd have a Columbus or a Cleveland.
Yeah,
gig,
Columbus
yeah.
or Cleveland seat. Yeah.
Well, that's how. What's his face? Got his spot.
Yeah.
Brown.
Kersey?
No, yeah, Sherrod Brown.
Sherrod Brown.
Yeah.